Good morning, everyone. It is Friday, June 16th, and I have time again this morning. It's still lovely and fresh rain, overcast. So I thought, like yesterday, I would walk you through a different part of the garden. And so here we go. So this is actually one side of our front yard over here. This is the side that's, I say, somewhat done because I keep deciding to add to it. Over here is the side where we had the lovely birch that Fiona murdered. So the hay kind of stuff you see down there is where we had to actually get a landscaper in to pull up all the roots, and that is reseed that's popping up there. So we do have plans for that side for some tree development. At the very bottom over there, you'll see two large beds. I can't walk over there because the ground is still very soft. But those are the butterfly way beds. And what I mean by that, anybody that's been following me, is I'm an official butterfly way ranger under David Suzuki Foundation project. And what that means is that I am growing items and building gardens from native plants, native to our location, so that it really helps populate all the wonderful insects that we need in order to live on planet Earth and grow our food and generate our oxygen and everything wonderful that they do. So I do have two very new large beds. They each probably go 40 feet on both sides each, and are about 3 to 4 feet wide. So we can fit a lot of things in there. You're going to hear some noise from a truck coming up the street. And I do have rows of blanket flowers in both of them at this time. Blanket flowers is a native plant, and they will bloom all summer. But I'll give you more of a show of that once everything gets planted and I'm able to get over there and give you a closer look. So for this morning, let's talk about this side. This side is well manicured. It was one of our large projects last summer where we put in a bunch of trees, developed some new beds, and I have plans for another new bed where the bridal spirea that I had showed you and the rose bushes will be going. So over here, just from the top, I'll show you, we have put in some large trees. So we have two red maples, one here, one down at the bottom. We also have a variegated maple, actually two of them, one here, which we'll get a closer look, and one over there. On this corner, we do have, and pardon me, the names of them, I'll look them up, and all these videos I'm uploading to my YouTube channel. So over there, if I can't remember the name during the video, I'll try to make a note of what the name of different things are in the video in case you're interested. This one, it's beautiful foliage. Been disappointed in its bloom though. It's supposed, I think it's a choke cherry, or I don't know if it's 9 bark, but I'll confirm that. It's supposed to be covered in these little tiny flowers, pink flowers in the spring, and we've had very low bloom rate onto it. So I'm not sure. It's the second year for this area, for this spot. We actually had it up by the house, and we thought because it wasn't getting enough sun, we'd move it, and it's growing terrific, but it's just not blooming. So I certainly won't get rid of it because I love the red tones that it brings to the yard and just the leaf structure, but I would like to see it bloom. A closer look of the wonderful red maple, and just to give you a perspective, we're on the side where the garage is. So we showed you the big bed yesterday of all the heuchera and the impatiens. So this is that side of that. And then here is one of the silver maple. That's leaves are just coming out and looking glorious. So the other area that I said we have plans for is this area right here. So it's a little bit of a slope as you're coming down from the garage, and in this corner is where I want to create another little bed with all the roses and the bridal spirea. So that will be coming. And then we have this little area here, which I just adore. It's a new bed as of last year. It's kind of U-shaped because I wanted to put a bench in the center so that we can come down at this part of the gardens and just sit and look and see the gardens from this perspective. So behind the bench is a apple tree that's now out of bloom. It did bloom earlier. And then we have this beautiful willow. I do believe it's a willow. These are one of the ones because they're newer to me. I don't have their names memorized, but I will look up these ones and put them in the YouTube video. We have a little shrub here that's a chartreuse color. That color just pops in your yard no matter where you put it, and it stays all season because that's its color. We have a little bush back here, which I believe is a red burning bush. And then I popped in some annuals. We did have some tulips and daffodils bloom here this spring. And actually we have some late bloomers. I don't know what these are going to do, but they are bulbs and they look like they have little growth tips onto them. So I don't know if they're going to do something or not. Again, waiting until all of those die back because that's the food for your bulbs. You can't snip off your stems too early or else your bulbs won't come back next year. So you have to put up with the kind of the ugliness of them just hanging around for a while. But we did plant in some annuals here. I might pop a few more in. We have another shrub here. I think it's a hydrangea, but I can't say for sure. I will look it up. And then we have a rhododendron here, which has all kinds of lovely little blossoms on it. So I can't wait for that to open. And then we have another shrub here, which I know one of these is an Incrediball. And I want to say this is the Incrediball. This one is the one I'm not sure about. So we'll look them up for you. So that's kind of that little area. And if we back away and give you this kind of a view, it is really a nice just little sitting area. And then as we walk down further, we have another variegated maple tree, and the variegated part is the leaf structure. And I learned something very new last year in this, and I'm not sure how we're ever going to prevent it as the tree grows. It's already too tall for us to reach the top. But apparently if you see leaves forming that are all green and does not have the variegation in it, if you don't snip those leaves off, eventually the tree will just turn all green, which is strange, but that's the brilliant thing of nature. It's like a chameleon. But like I said, it's not something we're going to be able to control. So it's one of those things that if the leaf is down here low, we'll snip it off. But I'm already stretching my neck way up. This tree is quite large. It put on a lot of growth, and that's why we like them. They do grow rather fast. And there's the other. So then as we walk down further, sorry for the shakiness of the camera, I'm getting a wonderful scent of mayflowers down here. It must be all the fresh dampness. So we live like our border, and you can hear the birds, is all kind of wooded between us and our neighbors, and we left that. And that's one of the things I've always tried to do in whatever garden we've created, is I try to work with the natural borders of the landscape. So this is another U-shape, and it's not because I like U-shapes overly than any other shape, but it was again the natural landscape. So we still have like some white birch, some spruce that just were nice strong trees at the time that we built here, and I did not want to knock them down and have extra costs of uprooting them eventually. If Mother Nature decides they don't want them there anymore, we may have to do something, but as long as they're strong and on the uprise, then I want to leave them. So this bed down here was created because of the shape of the natural trees. And in this bed, we have hydrangeas. So we have limelights, and these this will be just their second year, but they're looking wonderful, and they will have nice blooms onto them, and I will certainly take you down and show you them once they're in full bloom. So these are hydrangeas limelights, and they're just nice and lush. We had some daffodils planted in between, which again we're just waiting for the blooms and the stems to brown down, and then we'll get rid of them. And then in between those we planted some petunias, the Vista Series Jazzberry. So I'm hoping that they really spread in this area and just give a nice sharp pop of color, because we're not that far from the road on this end. So it'd be nice to see some fresh color with the hydrangeas as they're blooming. So in total we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hydrangeas, and these will get quite large over time. So much so, I'm hoping we'll have no space to plant in between eventually. But these are them with the Supertunia or the Vista Series Jazzberries in between. Oh, I just love the sound of the morning birds. And the only thing left I have to show you down on this end was, I joke with our landscaper from Gray's Nursery, as he put in all of our trees. I joke with him and saying, you purposefully left a tree on your truck when you came to me because you knew I would not let it go. So when he came to plant our maple trees, he had this dogwood tree, and dogwood does require some shade. I had no plans for it, but here it is. It's amongst the natural landscape of the trees surrounding it. So I'm hoping it will like this spot and thrive. It did well over the winter. It is leafing out, and dogwood do bloom. This one, I believe it's a white bloom, but we'll see how it does. So that was kind of my surprise tree that landed in the yard. And that's it. So from way down at the bottom where the hydrangeas are, looking up, this is kind of that space. And you know, we do have some roots here from trees that have fallen, and I don't mind that. I just really like the look of the natural environment, and as long as we have enough trees standing to support this area, then it will stay as is. Well, that's it for this morning, folks. We'll chomp off another piece of the property another day, and I hope you have a terrific Friday. Hi, Winnie. Talk to you soon. Bye.